A cinematic wide shot of a dusty Wyoming town in 1873 at golden hour. A weathered stagecoach sits in the center of the street. A young Apache woman in a torn buckskin dress steps down, her face marked with exhaustion and quiet dignity. Behind her, two other Apache women follow, their eyes scanning the town with guarded hope. A tall cowboy in a worn leather vest and wide-brimmed hat stands frozen outside the saloon, recognition dawning on his weathered face. Dust swirls between them as 10 years of silence finally breaks. Close-up of the cowboy's face. Caleb Wilder, now 42, his skin carved by sun and wind, his brown eyes widening with the shock of memory. His jaw tightens, his throat moves as he swallows hard, and his hands, calloused from a decade of ranch work, hang motionless at his sides. Behind him, the town of Willow Creek blurs into amber shadows, but his focus is locked entirely on the three women before him. His expression shifts from disbelief to something deeper, an old wound beginning to open. Close-up of the first woman, Nayeli, her face illuminated by the warm golden light. She's 32 now, but her eyes carry the weight of what she survived 10 years ago. Her dark hair falls loose past her shoulders, a single eagle feather tucked behind her ear. Her lips part as she searches his face, her expression a mixture of gratitude and something unspoken. Behind her, the two other women, her sisters in survival, stand with matching resolve, their gazes steady upon the man who changed their fates. Low-angle shot of Nayeli stepping forward, her hand rising to touch Caleb's chest, her fingers hovering just above his heart. His eyes drop to her hand, then rise to meet hers, his expression vulnerable beneath its rugged surface. The townsfolk have stopped to watch, their blurred figures lining the boardwalks, but the moment belongs only to them. The golden light catches the faint sheen of tears forming in Nayeli's eyes as she speaks the first words to him in a decade. Nayeli speaking, her voice imagined as steady but soft, telling him they have traveled for 3 moons to find him. Behind her, the second woman, Sani, places a hand on her shoulder, grounding her. Caleb's face shows confusion giving way to disbelief, his brow furrowed, his mouth opening but no words coming. The third woman, Hawkey, watches from a few paces back, her arms crossed but her expression warm. The dust settles around them as the weight of their journey becomes clear. A medium shot inside the ranch house that evening, firelight flickering across wooden walls adorned with simple tools and faded photographs. Caleb stands by the hearth, his back to the flames, his face half-shadowed as he listens. Nayeli sits at the rough-hewn table, her hands wrapped around a tin cup, her sisters flanking her. She explains that after he rescued them from the slavers, they were taken in by another tribe, raised to womanhood with his memory as their guiding light. Her voice trembles as she says they owe him their lives. Close-up of Sani leaning forward, her face illuminated by the firelight, her dark eyes intense and sincere. She explains that among her people, there is a tradition. When a man saves a woman's life with no expectation of reward, his spirit becomes entwined with hers. Her voice lowers, carrying the weight of sacred truth as she says they have spent 10 years searching for him. The fire crackles, casting dancing shadows across her sharp cheekbones as she delivers words that will change everything. Close-up of Caleb's face as the women speak in unison, their voices layered with reverence. Marry us. His expression freezes, the firelight catching the disbelief in his eyes, the subtle tremor in his jaw. His hands grip the mantle behind him, knuckles white, as the weight of their words settles into the silence of the room. For a long moment, he says nothing, his gaze moving from one woman to the next, searching for the joke that never comes. His throat works as he finally finds his voice. Caleb stepping away from the fire, moving toward the window where moonlight spills across the wooden floor. His back is to the women, his silhouette strong but tense against the pale light. He tells them he is honored, but he's just a rancher, a man who did what any decent person would have done. His voice cracks slightly as he says he does not deserve their gratitude, let alone their hands in marriage. Nayeli rises from her chair, her footsteps soft on the worn planks. Nayeli standing behind Caleb, her hand resting gently on his arm, her face reflected beside his in the window glass. She tells him he does not understand. This is not about gratitude, but about the debt of spirit that can never be repaid with words alone. She explains that her people taught her that the greatest honor is to bind oneself to the one who embodies courage and selflessness. Her reflection in the glass shows her eyes glistening, her expression not pleading but patient. The three women sitting together on the porch the next morning, wrapped in blankets against the cool dawn light. Sonny speaks quietly to her sisters, her words not meant for Caleb's ears, as they watch the sun rise over the valley. Their faces are serene but determined, their postures relaxed yet unwavering. In the distance, Caleb tends to the horses, his movements distracted, his gaze frequently drifting toward the porch. The morning light paints everything in soft gold, a new day offering a choice. A wide shot of Caleb standing alone at the edge of the property, his hands on his hips, staring out at the vast prairie stretching toward the mountains. His silhouette is small against the immense sky, a man contemplating a decision that carries weight beyond logic. Behind him, the ranch house sits quietly, smoke rising from the chimney, the three women visible through the kitchen window preparing food. The scene captures isolation and possibility, the loneliness of the frontier meeting the unexpected arrival of connection. Medium shot inside the kitchen that evening, the women preparing a meal together while Caleb watches from the doorway. Nayeli stirs a pot over the fire, Sonny kneads bread on the wooden table, and Hockey sets out plates with quiet efficiency. Their movements are synchronized, practiced, as if they have always belonged in this space. Caleb's expression has softened, the walls around his heart showing cracks as he observes their ease with one another and with his home. Close-up of Hockey, the quietest of the three, her face tilted toward Caleb as she hands him a plate of food. Her voice is soft but clear as she tells him that when he saved them, he was barely more than a young man himself. Yet he faced armed men with nothing but courage and a rifle. She says she remembers every detail, the way he knelt beside them afterward, offering water before asking a single question. Her eyes hold his, and for the first time, he does not look away. Caleb sitting alone on the porch at midnight, the stars scattered across the sky like scattered hopes. Nayeli joins him, settling beside him without asking permission, their shoulders almost touching. He confesses that he has been alone so long he has forgotten how to be anything else. She listens without interrupting, her presence steady and warm. When he finishes, she simply says that loneliness is not a punishment he must carry forever, and her hand finds his in the darkness. The following morning, Caleb stands before the three women in the main room of the ranch house, his face set with resolve. He tells them he cannot marry three women. It is not his way, not the law of this land, not something he ever imagined. Their faces fall, but before they can speak, he continues, his voice rough with emotion. He says he can offer them a home, his protection, his friendship, and if one of them will have him as a husband, he will be the best man he knows how to be. A pause hangs in the air, the women exchanging glances that carry unspoken understanding. Nayeli steps forward, her hand rising to cup Caleb's weathered cheek, her touch gentle against his stubbled jaw. She tells him that among her people, a man who protects three sisters may wed one, and the others become her honored companions, a family bound not by marriage, but by loyalty. Her smile is the first true smile he has seen from her, and it transforms her face. He exhales, the weight of his impossible choice lifting. A wide shot of the ranch house at sunset 1 week later, a small ceremony taking place beneath the cottonwood tree by the creek. Caleb stands beside Nayeli, their hands bound with woven cord as Sani speaks words in her native tongue. Hockey holds a small clay bowl of sacred herbs, the smoke rising toward the amber sky. The scene is intimate, quiet, witnessed only by the land in the fading sun. Yet it carries the weight of something profound, a family forged from rescue, time, and choice. Inside the ranch house that night, the four of them gathered around the fire, laughter filling the space that was silent for so long. Sanny is telling a story with animated hands. Hockey leans against Naeli's shoulder, and Caleb watches them all with an expression of wonder. His arm rests along the back of the bench where Naeli sits beside him, her hand in his. The firelight catches the moisture in his eyes. Tears he does not hide as the sound of women's laughter echoes off walls. That only knew silence. A final wide shot of the ranch house at golden hour months later. Naeli stands on the porch with her hand resting on her growing belly. Her sister's beside her, while Caleb emerges from the barn, carrying a small wooden cradle. The valley stretches behind them in shades of gold and green, the same wildflowers that bloomed the day they arrived now swaying in the breeze. Their faces are illuminated by the warm sunset, showing peace, belonging, and the quiet miracle of a man who thought himself alone, discovering he had a family all along.